This isn't even my final form! So, how do you pull off, this isn't even my final form, in a way that's not cheesy, that players will buy? There are a couple of ways to do this, and I'll go over them. So, power up. First option. Set up the big boss room with a location or object that the PCs know could empower the BBEG. Perhaps the shadow sorcerer that the PCs have been following is after a magical gem or a magical spring. They catch up with him right as he's about to snag the gem or dip into the spring. They have 1 round to stop the sorcerer before he grabs the gem, or maybe he even falls into the spring as he's dying. Then he powers up, enlarges, radiates energy, and starts kicking ass again. Make sure to play it up and make it look horrible for the PCs, right before that second combat wave begins. Second option, baddie in a box. Make it plausible that the BBEG is actually a container, vessel, or vehicle for another creature that the players have already met or are aware of the existence of. Like there's a dragon or other such creature killing people or stealing corpses or what have you. The characters find the dragon, fight it, and win. And then something starts moving inside the corpse, revealing a crazy old mage or a little goblin alchemist inside. One way to do this is to have the dragon or vessel launching fire or some such around the countryside, and when they actually encounter the dragon, it's clearly a statue or golem and doesn't use any fire at all. Then when this little goblin alchemist crawls out, she throws grenades or Molotov cocktails or even has a flamethrower backpack. Never said it had to be that one being that powers up. Okay, so number 3, a greater being. Drop clues along the way that the big bad evil guy is more than they appear, like a dragon or a deity. Perhaps the BBEG has the same name as a deity, which is a great big clue right off the bat that some players will completely disregard as a red herring. That's really fun. You could even have a statue of the deity that looks just like the big bad evil guy, or an illustration in an ancient book that shows their face and calls them the Eternal or the Ever-Changing One or something like that. Then, when the bad guy's killed, he resurrects as an actual low-level deity and tries to kill the characters again. If you want to make this easier to handle, you could even give them a rod of disintegration that is the only thing that can kill the big bad evil guy, and only after they're a deity again. And this way it could actually be a good thing that the bad guy comes back after being beaten. And you don't have to pull off, this isn't even my final form, as that literally, like the meme says from Dragon Ball Z. There are alternatives. So, one of the alternatives to this isn't even my final form is Misdirection. Attack the player characters directly to allow the big bad evil guy to escape. Like, maybe the BBEG only wants to be able to escape, and so they poison, petrify, or suck a PC into a gateway and then try to run away. Their intention is not actually to kill the party, but to go on to another plan that they have, and the PCs are genuinely a distraction to the bad guy at the time. Or, like, put a town or group of people in danger directly to allow the bad guy to escape. Let's say the party tracks down the bad guy right before he casts a spell that summons a horde of nightmares, unleashing them on a nearby city. The party has to decide to either go rescue people from being eaten by flying horses or to defeat the bad guy. Another option is to destroy the entire encounter room, like the last room the boss is in. It will force the PCs to try to survive instead of fighting the bad guy, thus allowing the bad guy to escape. This is something I love to do, because it feels engrossing and cinematic. When the party confronts the bad guy, make sure that they understand that the room they're in has very fragile floors or ceiling. And then when the bad guy is almost defeated, have him unleash some thunderous magic like an earthquake spell, or a demon, like a Balrog, enters the room and starts demolishing the entire room, or just the floor, so the party falls into a ravine. I've done this with ground that they know is rocky, and they have to roll athletics or dexterity checks just to get around. Then, at the end of the adventure, on their way out, a series of giant stalactites fall from the ceiling, piercing monsters and players and just destroying the ground. So the party has to avoid the rickety rocky floor that has 10-foot pits in it that they could fall into. And then there are dire rats at the bottom of those pits. And then giant stalactites are crashing down from the ceiling and making huge holes in the floor where they impact. Yeah, obviously this one's my favorite. It's just so much chaos that they feel like they've been through something, like they're in the middle of a cinematic, like Indiana Jones movie. Another option to this isn't even my final form, is enemy of my enemy. Have the big bad evil guy join the party as an ally against the actual bad guy. Like the trope of, I'm not a bad guy, I'm just misunderstood. The bad guy is doing what they're doing in order to defend the nation or the world or the plane from a larger threat. The black-veined cultists are sacrificing innocent people in order to keep the gateways to the far realm closed. Without their efforts, the world would have been destroyed decades ago. But the PCs have found another way. And once they convince the cult leader of this, she's willing to help the PCs with their mission instead of murdering innocent people. Bad guy to good guy. Or neutral guy. Or you can turn a PC against the party. Just when the bad guy is about to die, he switches bodies with one of the PCs. Or the bad guy succeeds at a mind control attempt of an NPC that has been traveling with the party. Then the chaos that's caused by this friend trying to kill the party is distraction enough to allow the boss to escape. That leads me to the cover my escape possibility. Maybe the bad guy uses another creature to allow them to escape, like they summon an Ifrit, or they release their master creation, a dragon golem, or their allies, a literal horde of bugbears comes in and swamps the party, literally running interference. You could allow another NPC or opponent to sacrifice themselves to let the bad guy flee, thus allowing them to remarshal their forces and return bigger, badder, and stronger. Remember, however you do it, throughout any of these, no matter what path you choose, it won't make any sense to the players if you don't at least drop some hints along the way. You can totally just make it seem like a minor mystery, just enough to keep them curious. But you need to do some pre-planning, or they won't buy it, and they won't be invested. Setup is key. Let me know what you think of these ideas, or better yet, tell me some things that you've done that work for the end scene to continue it into a bigger adventure later, like the "this isn't even my final form" trope. Look out for the next poll to come out about what we're going to be doing for the end of the next month. We're always going to be doing a deep dive of some sort, so just let me know what you think.